did WWE do right and wrong last night? Well, we'll tell you as WGS-TV reviews the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
This is Michael Lewis, former New Orleans Saints point and kick returner. You're watching WGS-TV.
Guys, I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. With Raw having its huge show, I figured, why the hell not bring everybody back here and we all talk about the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. So let me introduce first, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be found on Facebook under the group section HWR chat room. Ladies and gentlemen, Brickhead. Rick, how you doing?
Oh, shit, it's right over? Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks, guys, for having me, Billy. Always a pleasure to be on the Wrestle Gamer Show.
And also the resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/LanceMossTV, the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
Better than Enzo.
Now, during the week, we got so many reports of WWE, what they promised to do for their 25th anniversary show. Being at the Manhattan Center, a.k.a. the Hammerstein Ballroom, where Raw was started, was a great idea. That is, if WWE had their entire show there. But instead, there were two different locations for Raw, which was also a first for their show. Now, if it was done properly, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But a show as monumental as their 25th anniversary show should have taken place where it all began. Now, with the promise of JR and Jerry the King Lawler returning to commentary did spark my interest as well. But would we get that magic that made them special for years? No. Instead, what we got was less than dead commentary. And I've even heard reports and speculation that JR and Jerry the King Lawler were actually falling asleep during the show. Now, I'm not saying if it was right or wrong, or if it could be corroborated or not, I don't know. But I'm just saying those were the reports. Now, what did WWE do right and wrong with their show last night? To answer that question, let's talk about Raw. Better way to start off the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw than with the first family of the WWE, the McMahons. Shane and Stephanie would welcome everyone to the show and would welcome Vince McMahon, the man behind it all, and would present him with a plaque that was, they would say, funded with a GoFundMe account. And one thing, Rick, we all know that Vince knows how to do is turn on a crowd on a dime, and did it beautifully last night.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not really a big fan of this nostalgia shows, but for the opening, absolutely, it was great. Vince, he's a true entertainer.
Oh, definitely. There's no disputing that whatsoever. And one feud that really put Raw on the map back in the Attitude Era was the Austin McMahon feud. So with McMahon hating on the crowd once again, out would come the former WWE Champion and WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin to do what he does best, drink beer and stun the McMahons. First it was Shane, and then it was Vince. Personal opinion, I love the nostalgia feeling I got from this segment. Vince still knows how to sell the stunner for sure, even though Rusev on Twitter would probably disagree with that from what he posted last night. But anyway, I gotta think it was a great way to start the 25th anniversary of Raw right there. 3.5 out of 5. Lance, we had the makings of what it could have been a good show right there just with this opening.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there's a reason why the old saying is, if you hear the glass, it's Vince's ass.
And you have to have known that if you grew up in the Attitude Era like we have.
Yeah.
Opening match of the show was an 8-woman tag team match, as it was Nia Jax, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose and Alicia Fox taking on the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Now, 9 times out of 10, you would label a match like this on paper as the piss break match, but I have to admit, the execution of the match was there, and there was really nothing bad I can say about it. The finish of the match was Banks locking on the bank statement on Alicia to pick up the win. Personal opinion, I'm not afraid to say that I enjoyed this match. And even what happened after the match, when Asuka began tossing her partners over the top rope. And if that's not symbolism, Rick, for the Women's Royal Rumble match, I don't know what is.
Well, that's been the rumor mill lately, is that Asuka is, one of the primary people who expect to win the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble. The match itself, it was decent, greatly executed, but I also think you can see there was some safeguards because, especially with Paige's injury, and it's going to be a busy couple of weeks for the WWE roster, so I think they're kind of taking it easy.
I'm going to score that match a 3 out of 5. Backstage, Kurt Angle was talking to a referee about the upcoming confrontation with Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, and Kane when he get interrupted by the nostalgia train. Here we go. First off, Jonathon Coachman, formerly of ESPN, and I don't know what he's doing now, but then Harvey, Willpleman, and the Brooklyn Brawler. And first off, with them being in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Brawler should have been right at home. Then it was Teddy Long, who danced the only way he could, and thank God he was the only one who could dance that way. And then it was Lance's favorite guy of all time, Brother Love, who loved everything as usual. And the final person there turned out to be the Boogeyman, who handed some worms over to Coachman. I guess the only thing we can say about that part, Lance, is I guess the coach can go fishing now.
Well, yeah, but you kept messaging me, where's Oksana? Where's Oksana? Where's Oksana?
Oh, God. Anyway, there is only one dead man in the WWE, The Undertaker. Where would Monday Night Raw be without the Phenom, the Reaper, the former multi-time WWE champion? So since it was the 25th anniversary of Raw, it makes sense to have the iconic Undertaker make a return. And needless to say, Undertaker still cut a chilling promo the only way he can. He made mention of the fact that he's taken legends off of their pedestals and buried them. People like Stone Cold, Mick Foley, and even his own flesh and blood brother Kane. Undertaker would conclude the segment by saying it was time for those souls to rest in peace. Personal opinion? I'm not exactly sure how to interpret what The Undertaker said in this promo. Rick, Lance, can you guys take a shot at it?
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to just say, Undertaker, it was his, he was trying to do one of those Undertaker promos, and I'm sorry, but he's gotten really out of work, and the promo is dry as toast. That may be because of his way of saying goodbye, and he was just there for the Raw show. People are making rumors that we're going to see Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't see it happening. The segment did nothing for me at all.
Mic off. Mic on.
I will say this, though. Undertaker, when he's there, it brings a nostalgia feeling to the show. And I think that's what the fans were really soaking in, was the nostalgia feeling of The Undertaker. So I got to give it a 3.5 out of 5 for that one, Lance. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it does, but this is right around the time when Taker's going to do one of his matches. He starts challenging, or at least starts showing up to start intimidating the poor bastard that he's going to take out. But this time, I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows. But anyway, Heath Slater and Rhyno were playing cards when.
Actually,
wait, go ahead.
I wanted to welcome in Joseph Sculder Knight, who just came in. Josh, according to Billy, we just got through talking about The Undertaker. Your thoughts?
You know, I used to be an Undertaker fan, but seeing him in the condition he is, it's just like watching Shawn Michaels too. These guys are done. You know, yes, they're legends. Yes, they should be honored, but in a separate segment somewhere, like a convention or something. Seeing Undertaker in the ring, and you could tell he's trying to put together these mystical words of rest and peace. It's like William Shatner talking on Star Trek. We must go really fast. he was very slow, and I know that's his gimmick, but you could tell he's fumbling at the words. It just was bad, in my opinion.
Were the fans really chanting horseshit when Undertaker was making his entrance?
Yes. And his promo was the same way. They really did not. It's like his time came and gone. They seen him lose at WrestleMania, not once but twice. They seen him lose high-profile matches. It's done. You know, he's a great legend. He deserves his place like Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock. But he looks horrible. I mean, he didn't even let his hair grow. He cut it down again. It's a real pitiful thing. And excuse me, the wife is called.
Heath Slater and Rhyno were playing cards when none other than the APA, which is the Acolyte Protection Agency for those of you who don't know, until we saw a wad of bills being dropped on the table by only one man who could ever do that. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who got dealt into their game. I gotta say again, all about nostalgia. That's it. Now, WWE would welcome some of their past general managers of Monday Night Raw, like John Laurinitis, William Regal, who is the current general manager of NXT and doing a fantastic job on that show, and Eric Bischoff. And I gotta say, Rick, he got quite the pop from the crowd.
Yeah, you know, I think he got the biggest pop of the crowd, and I didn't notice that Vicky Guerrero wasn't there, and she really had a high impact, no pun intended, as being one of the more notorious GMs.
Yeah, I kind of found that strangely puzzling that they wouldn't have her on there. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin can make the fans pop by saying what? Vicky Guerrero could get people to hate her guts just by saying "excuse me." So why not have her back there? But anyway, the pop from Eric Bischoff to me got surpassed by the pop for Daniel Bryan, who was obviously over as hell in WWE, whose return to Raw got cut short thanks to The Miz, who he's had a history with, to say the least. But anyway, up next it was the Intercontinental title match, The Miz challenging Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. I have to say, Reigns is really coming to his own as an Intercontinental Champion. And I have to say, with at this point in the show, the atmosphere, and remember I said at this point in the show, the atmosphere of the 25th anniversary of Raw has caused the current talent level, and I'm going to emphasize one more time, at this point in the show, on Raw to step up their game beyond the level of suck to adequately moderate, which is the best way I can describe the match. The Miz, as he's done in the past before, utilized the Mr. Offs to his advantage until they got caught by the referee, who proceeded to eject them. Miz would then hit the skull-crushing finale amidst all the chaos, but Reigns would kick out, which set up the actual finish. After avoiding a spear from Reigns, which sent him into the exposed second turnbuckle, Miz would hit another skull-crushing finale to pick up the win and become the Intercontinental Champion for the 8th time in WWE.
Thank God. I like The Miz. It's about time he gets his title back. Bob Backlund deserves his title back.
Actually, you know what? That is the 8th time he's held the title. If you remember his last title reign, he was bragging about how many days he's had the title. He's owned the title consecutively. As all as one.
This is Intercontinental Champion title tour, I think he called it.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I can see the reason why the belt changed is, one, because he's funnier as a champion, especially an IC champion, and I'm guessing a rematch at Royal Rumble.
It's hard to disagree with this statement right here, but Miz is a great talker.
Oh, you can't, no disagreement there at all. Miz is great on the mic. He knows how to antagonize the fans, and he's a funny bastard.
And you forget the most important thing. He is skilled in the ring. He knows ring presence. He knows what he has to do to get the job done. So The Miz is a complete package. He may be already like 10 years in the business or more, but he is still entertaining to watch. And he's that perfect heel that you send the baby faces to chase after. So it made perfect sense, and I'm glad it was done. That just shows me the time of the Shield is already falling apart. The cracks are there. The Roman Empire has fallen.
My official score on this match is a 3.75 out of 5. At this point in the show, the APA's card game grew, as they were then joined by Jeff Hardy, MVP, and the Usos. If I already made mention of the fact already, Heath Slater and Rhyno were there, and poor old Heath Slater, but we'll get to that when we get to that point in the show. Anyway, anyone out there like a good peep show? Not that kind of peep show, Lance, but I'm talking about Christian's talk show. You know, Captain Charisma Christian. He returned to Monday Night Raw, and during that intro of Christian, they also made mention of the fact that Edge was unable to be there due to prior obligations. So I believe that if Edge was there, Lance, I believe that instead of getting the peep show, more than likely we probably would have had the cutting edge instead of the peep show.
Or the Edge and Christian show.
That too.
And we would have seen, for those with the benefit of flash photography,
yep,
5 minutes of a 5-second pose down.
Yep, so Captain Charisma returned to Monday Night Raw, brought back the peep show, and would attempt to interview the Raw Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, but Jordan would decide to speak first, which drew a massive amount of heat from the crowd in attendance. Jordan would attempt to salute Kurt Angle, his father, until the Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus came out. First thing I want everyone to take note here, Rick, is that Cesaro didn't need his mouth guard to cut a promo, so I guess WWE Medical cleared him to cut a promo without it.
Well, I think again you will probably still see him doing it during the matches. Again, several months back, you know, he had to have his teeth realigned after getting them literally knocked up into his skull and broken. So again, you know, it's good to see that he finally did the you know, they got past the wet Superman, which I found funny as hell. And again, he'll be using that mouthpiece for a while.
Yeah,
if not permanently.
I can understand the usage of the mouthpiece during a match, but during a promo?
Again, I think it's just... It's WWE psychology. You know, you understand why, you know, I get why they didn't use the the mouthpiece, but who knows? Again, WWE has their fucked up way of thinking. And I'm sorry, but whoever called your Christian the Captain Charisma, no, it was more like Captain Boring.
Well, it was the name that he went by for years and years. But anyway, the Bar would push Jordan to the point by saying that he sucks, just like his dad, and would do the Kurt Angle "You suck" chant until Jordan clothesline Sheamus over the top while his partner. And while he held, I'm trying to read my notes, and I should know it because I wrote these things. And while Jordan held Cesaro, Rollins would attempt his flying knee strike, but Cesaro got out of the way and struck his partner instead. Personal opinion, if WWE was looking to put more heat on Jordan and put more emphasis on the Raw Tag Team title match this Sunday, Joe, I believe they accomplished that.
Absolutely, and I could definitely predict a title change. You know, Jason Jordan, he's... for one, I don't know why they even gave him this benefit. He's not a great worker. The only good thing about it that he's the storyline. You know, I know his mother Charmel must be completely upset with him. You know, but I don't see nothing worse than this guy.
I have to disagree to a point. The point being that I will agree to the point that Jordan's character really needs some fine tuning. There's no doubt about that. But in the ring, he's got great in-ring ability. I mean, him and Chad Gable as American Alpha versus the NXT Tag Team Champions and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, they were a great tag team. I still question WWE's decision to break up such a good tag team because right now, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin really aren't panning out very well in my personal opinion. But again, that's just my personal opinion.
Well, you know what? Let me chime in here, and Billy, I got to agree with a lot with what you said, especially when it comes to American Alpha being split up. I felt that was foolish. Jason Jordan is a great ring worker. My skills are okay, but I think right now it's really the storyline that's hurting him above anything.
And anyway, the one thing he's getting is a reaction, and there's one thing that we've always said. It's always great. If you have a reaction, that's great. But if you get no reaction from the crowd, that's when you know you're in trouble. And Jordan's getting a reaction from the crowd. There's no doubt about that. But I will say this, my official score for this segment is a 3 out of 5. Backstage, Alexa Bliss, the Raw Women's Champion, was being interviewed and was asked the question if she believed she would be the champion come WrestleMania, to which she took offense to. Then the former Raw Women's Champion and current SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, showed up and said the only reason why Bliss was the champion was due to the fact that Charlotte was on SmackDown Live, but took the opportunity to bring her Hall of Fame dad, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, into the promo to basically say the same thing as the segment ended with both Flairs wooing into the camera. If there's one person that Father Time hasn't been kind to, it's definitely Ric Flair.
All right, he's a geriatric walking. He's a bedpan sitting. He's a nurse chasing son of a gun.
Well, and let's be honest, he has lived a fast life.
Yeah.
You know, he's drank a lot, smoked a lot. You know, he did a lot of drugs.
A lot of people ride Space Mountain.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, and you know, I think he's drunk. Threw his junk out more than a fucking trash compactor. So, but again, you know, the guy, you know, survived, you know, a heart attack. We all thought he was gone. Yeah, it's a little weak to see him, but, you know, hey, he's still a legend.
We return to the APA's card game at this point in the show as Natalya and Titus Worldwide join the game, and let's just say Heath Slater was having a very off night in the card game.
First of all, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Whose idea was it to put a white girl with two black muscular black guys? Doesn't that look like a bad porno?
Oh,
Hey, Joe, WWE logic.
I
Same
know.
much they use in those movies you just described.
over in the Manhattan Center.
Notice Billy did not further go into that segment.
For obvious reasons. Over in the Manhattan Center, it would be Bray Wyatt taking on Woken Matt Hardy. Now, I'm just speaking for me and from my perspective, but this match kind of felt like a letdown to me, even with JR and Jerry the King Lawler calling the commentary. I was expecting a little bit more from them, considering the series of vignettes and confrontations between them. I'm not saying the match was terrible, but I felt it could have been better than what it was. The finish of the match was Wyatt hitting Sister Abigail on Hardy to pick up the win. Personal opinion, Rick, I think I've already said what I've needed to say about this match.
Yeah, you know, this, why he had to redo this gimmick in the WWE is beyond me. It was entertaining in over in Impact Wrestling / Global Wrestling, whatever they were back and forth at the time, and it was interesting. And they could really show it and take it to a whole level. But WWE speeding it up, and his gimmick is just him laughing and making a few, you know, funny statements. It's horrible. And I believe even John Cena's father, John Cena Sr., said it was a joke and it will be dead in about 2 months.
Well, if they put forth matches like this, it wouldn't be any surprise to me that would actually happen. But I'm going to give that match, I can't even give it a 3. I have to go 2.95 out of 5. And like I said, I was expecting a little bit more, even with the magic that JR and Jerry the King Lawler used to have on commentary. It wasn't present there. And to me, it just felt like they were just there to basically ride the wave. And they weren't there to do anything else other than that. And to me, I was expecting a little bit more. That's what I'm saying.
You know, when it comes to commentators like that, they kind of, you know, keep in mind both of these guys were slayed a little bit. You know, JR was, you know, kind of slowly muscled out, and then Jerry Lawler again kind of went from being on Raw, then to SmackDown, and then he was doing the kickoff shows, and now he was just gone. He's still on the contract, but he's just kind of there few and far between, so I can see whether they're like, yep, we're here for the check, yep. Yeah. Oh, wow, look, you got a body slam, you know?
It was still better than most of the shit they put out on Raw and their main team, though.
Well, we'll have to discuss that on a different video. WWE saluted some of their female superstars of the past, like the Bella Twins. No shocker there. Maurice, Kelly, Lillian Garcia, Jacqueline, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Terry Runnels, Maria Kanellis, who was pregnant, by the way, and Trish Stratus. Again, great to see all of those great female. But here's the thing: there was no Victoria, there was no Lita. Why weren't women like them invited to the Raw 25th anniversary show?
You know, Billy, I want to throw this in too. We saw during the Facebook challenge and Mixed Match challenge, we did see Beth Phoenix. Why wasn't she part of that segment as well?
Well, if I can interject, honestly, I think the problem was it was getting too saturated. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Doing Raw 25 on a Monday night, the way they did it was poorly executed. What they should have done is on a Raw 25 through Saturday and Sunday, where they could do spread out a little bit more time, have these wrestlers talk about those times, and move on.
Yep.
Like a network special.
Yeah, exactly like a network statement. You know, exclusive network show.
Well, Elias was backstage walking towards the ring when you would see, fresh off of his Wrestle Kingdom match with Kenny Omega, Y2J Chris Jericho, who had his own little song for Elias, and then put him on the list. That's how over Jericho is. No matter where he goes, he gets a massive pop for the list. So,
I even pop for the list.
Yeah.
However,
and I don't pop for talent.
you don't pop.
Apparently, a lot of other people don't do it either.
And for the record, that Chris Jericho Kenny Omega match was off the fucking. It was incredible.
Yep. However, that didn't deter Elias from going out there, as he would first point out that Jimmy Fallon, the host of The Tonight Show, was at ringside, and then would proceed to sing a song degrading the WWE legends and Brooklyn, which brought out John Cena to interrupt Elias, who took offense to Cena being there. Cena would then challenge Elias to do something about it, to which he did. He would get his butt kicked in usual Super Cena fashion that we've been accustomed to seeing for years, until the former WWE champion, former 16-time WWE champion, tried for the AA, and Elias countered with a low blow. Elias then took his guitar and smashed it on the spine of Cena. Personal opinion, I believe WWE did things this way due to the injury of Samoa Joe. According to reports, Joe was supposedly going to start an angle with Cena. That was until his recent injury, which is going to keep him out of the Royal Rumble. So I have to say, Lance, that this was WWE's plan B.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Elias is getting over before now. So yeah, why not put him over with some guy with Cena in the place of a guy like Samoa Joe, who was and is still over, but still helps a younger guy, and it proves one thing: Cena can't hold a tune.
I gotta say one thing, Billy. At least we learned one thing from Elias. He can swing a guitar like Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
I would venture to say he could swing a guitar like Jeff Jarrett. But
let's not degrade Elias like that now.
Yeah, that takes talent. Unfortunately, something that Double J doesn't have.
I'm going to score that segment a 3 out of 5. And as we all know, according to Elias, WWE stands for Walk with Elias. Now, at this point in the show, the New Day joined the card game, but Slater would get caught cheating in the game by Titus Worldwide, which led to them going out to the ring. The $1 Million Man would reveal his royal flush, and the segment would end with Ron's most famous word, Lance, you know it.
Damn!
Thank you. Mark Henry was walking down the hall and would run into his former running buddy in the Nation and former tag team partner, The Godfather. And let's just say, who knew Godfather had a hot wife? Wow. I mean,
well, Billy,
damn.
pimping ain't easy.
That's why he looks so good.
Well, you got a point there. Point there. Up next, it was the aforementioned match with Titus Worldwide taking on Slater and Rhyno. About less than 5 minutes into the actual match starting, WWE would cut to break and would come back to the match, breaking down the referee throwing the match out. Out would come Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys, who turned the whole segment into an execution of Heath Slater of sorts, who took the "What's Up" headbutt and got a little wood as he was 3D through a table. Personal opinion, it's the 25th anniversary of Raw, Joe. You gotta love the nostalgia.
Well, you know what? You gotta love the nostalgia, but you kind of gotta hate it too, the execution of it, because what did you do? You're supposed to push over your talent as well. What you're doing is you're burying your talent. The only one talent that really got over, in my opinion, throughout the whole show was Elias. He actually he took out Super Cena. Everybody else was abused. They were beaten up by look at, for example, what happened during the DX segment. All these old guys were kicking and chopping and doing all these things on that poor bastard. And what did you do? You didn't accomplish anything. You didn't help that guy out. Granted, he'll probably get a couple of shots, but you look at all these guys, and I mean, that was a big mark for the 80s and 90s, the Attitude Era.
Well, Joe, in their defense, it was Heath Slater. On these nostalgia shows, they beat up Heath Slater.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pete Rose at WrestleMania with Kane.
It's like you see the Brooklyn Brawler in a match. You think he's going over?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he wasn't there.
Officially, I'm going to score the match a 3 out of 5. Speaking of blasts from the past, the #1 guy in WWE and WCW who interviewed the superstars, Mean Gene Okerlund, returned to interview the WWE champion AJ Styles about his upcoming title defense against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or they are now classified as Cammy. Now, when I think of Cammy, I think of Cammy of Street Fighter. I think renaming Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to Cammy is just downright silly. Still, it was a nice segment of AJ Styles and seeing Mean Gene Okerlund. But after that, we would return to the Manhattan Center for the return of D-Generation X, and I will...
Wait a minute, Billy. Wait a minute. You just scalped over AJ. You forgot the best part of that segment. AJ Styles pulling nostalgia out of his hat and basically saying, "What are you doing, Mean Gene? Hey, brother." He basically did a whole Hulk Hogan segment without even saying it. And I gotta say, I don't mark out too much of today's thing, but AJ Styles doing that with Mean Gene Okerlund brought back a lot of good nostalgia. That was a good segment.
Well, yeah, I'll give it to him for that one, but as we were talking about, D-Generation X returned to the Manhattan Center, and well, let's admit, I'm a huge fan of DX. When you look back at the history of both incarnations of DX, they've done some of the most entertaining things in professional wrestling. I also want to tip my hat to Triple H for not only paying homage to Ravishing Rick Rude in the promo, but finally mentioning Chyna's name once again on WWE programming. The New Age Outlaws came out, and once again, Billy Gunn just doesn't age at all now, does he? I mean, every time we see him, he just looks, if not the same, then probably better than he used to be. I guess Rick's steroids are a wonder drug then.
They must be. And yeah, seeing DX just trying to show that they're the still baddest, gimmick on the planet, stable on the planet. I'm sorry, I still gotta go with NWO and Four Horsemen before I go to DX. DX was controversial. The wrestling skills for what it was is okay. And seeing them, for me, it was just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
X-Pac was the last one out there and said you couldn't have a reunion without the one defining moment in the Manhattan Center that put him on the map as the 1-2-3 Kid when he beat Razor Ramon, aka Scott Hall. Now, one thing I just don't understand is why WWE felt the need to cut to commercial break during Razor's entrance. Can anybody clarify that?
WWE logic.
Yeah.
No, they had to wait for the guy to get up there with his walker. It was going to take too long for him to walk up there. Hell, his "Hey yo" promo was much better than him walking to ringside. I gotta say one thing. X-Pac looked like he was still on drugs. Shawn Michaels looked like that degenerated old man who just stands around like, here, Grandpa, hold this for me. The best built guy and best looking guy out of all that was Billy Gunn. Now, you want to talk about a guy who doesn't age? Billy Gunn doesn't age.
Nope, he doesn't at all. Now, when Scott Hall mentioned Raw being just too sweet, out would come the Balor Club, Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. And at first, I thought we were going to see a confrontation between the two factions over the fact that they both used the too sweet motto, but instead they all joined in on it. Gallows and Anderson would take on the Revival, and if you guys remember last week, Revival had some interesting words about the Legends coming back, so I was kind of expecting a little bit more from them. Instead, what we got from them was a 5-minute match, or a less than 5-minute match, with the finish of the match being Gallows and Anderson hitting the Magic Killer on Dawson to pick up the win. Post-match, it just turned out to be everyone hitting their signatures on the Revival. At this point, I gotta say, Rick, I felt bad for the people who actually paid to be in attendance in the Manhattan Center for what was expecting a great 25th anniversary show and only got 2 segments and 2 less than stellar matches.
Yeah, when I heard there was 2 venues going on, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a shit show. Whoever's at the small venue is not going to be happy. Most of that shit was probably closed caption. I would hope it was at a reasonably cheap price because, they felt they got lucky because they had the Undertaker and DX there, and I hate to say it, but I wasn't really, I don't really miss either one. I liked them for what they were. They were a good, childhood memory, and I'm leaving it at that.
I've heard rumors that supposed ticket prices were $500.
Ouch.
Damn.
But
one thing,
go ahead.
Billy, one thing I gotta say though, what we saw on TV was one thing. Probably what they had when the camera wasn't tuned to them was probably other matches and probably segments broadcast on their Titantron there. It was kind of like the old WrestleMania 2 when they were showcasing the different locations. That's what they did. And the only thing they poorly executed this. This was really, I think, in my opinion, was a rushed thing. I don't think they really took the time to think properly about it. And I gotta say one thing, killing the Revival just to help some old has-beens of DX didn't do them any favors because they are a good tag team. Just my opinion. And they impress me, and I don't impress easy.
Anyone remember the era of closed circuit TV in arenas?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went to WrestleMania 2 for closed. It was closed circuit. In my area, cable had not come out yet, so obviously they didn't have pay-per-view. So if you get by WrestleMania 3 they did, but before that, you wanted to see that pay-per-view, you had to go into to an arena. In our case, it was the Boston Garden.
Yep. The finale of the show was a confrontation with Brock Lesnar, Kane, and Braun Strowman. I think the only reason WWE had everyone out there, including the Legends, were just for more TV time, because other than that, they did absolutely nothing during that actual physical confrontation. Now, Lesnar looked strong at first during the confrontation by clotheslining Strowman on the outside and F5ing Kane, which essentially took Kane out of the rest of the segment. Then Strowman took over, taking Lesnar to the outside, tossing him into the security railing like a sack of potatoes, and then power slamming him on the commentary table to end the show. Personal opinion, Braun Strowman has really come into his own and really owns the gimmick of being the monster among men. And Joe, I think that's probably one thing that WWE and current talents, they really don't have that ability to make you feel that their character is real, and Strowman has that ability.
You know what? You see Strowman, he's getting off as a good monster, and they're picking up on it. In today's thing, it's very rare to find it. He is a monster, just in height and build. You don't really need much else. The kooky little gimmick of him flipping over trucks, yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch. But overall, you know what? This just goes to show me that they have no one talented enough to take on Brock when they have to get Kane, who's a has-been, and Braun Strowman, who's a legit monster, to fight for the championship. You know, I don't know about this match, but if it was me, I would be scared if Braun Strowman won the belt. No opponent would chase after him.
And the only thing we could say is just say you like him so you don't get his hands. I'm going to score the finale of Monday Night Raw a 3.5 out of 5. Time for overall score and thoughts. Overall score of the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw gets a 3 out of 5. The best segment of the night going to the opening segment with Stone Cold and the McMahons, with worst segment of the night going to anything that happened at the Manhattan Center. Again, just imagine you paying so much money and expecting a great show, and for everything to take place at that center where it all began, and look what they got last night. I feel so bad for the people who spent all that money and they got that. But
hey, what are you complaining for? WWE made a killing on these people, and in the immortal words of Nelson Muntz from The Simpsons,
Anyway, let's go to Rick first, get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Like I said, I honestly fell asleep halfway through the show. I went back and I DVR'd real quick when I fast forwarded the, corny shit. And I wasn't impressed. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. If they wanted to truly honor Raw for 25 years, that should have been an exclusive 2-part, documentary on the WWE Network. I think we would have been able to appreciate it more. It, wouldn't be as rushed as it was, because that's what the show really came across as. It came across as rushed. They had some cool segments. Undertaker's dry fucking as toast promo. I can't even give it a 2.
Okay, Lance, over to you. Your score and your thoughts. Best match and best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
I'll give it a 2.5 because it was honestly kind of a generic nostalgia show. My best thing was having Rhyno feed his partner to the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one, and it's ECW, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell do you think I'm gonna do? Those are my buddies. Get in there.
And finally, over to Joe. Joe, what's your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw?
well, the best match I gotta say definitely was the Miz's Intercontinental Championship win over Roman Reigns. Best segment was, in my opinion, AJ Styles and Mean Gene Okerlund. That played it off well. For worst segment, worst match, just pick anything from the whole show, because the whole rest of the show was just plain horrible. My overall score is a 2. That was horribly done. They could have done it better. It deserves a network documentary push, like Rick said.
Well, guys and gals, that's been our thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Well, we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw? Definitely want to hear what you guys out there have to say. Be sure to put your comments in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button. Like a champ, Rick and Joe are over on HWR. Guys, tell them about HWR.
Well, HWR, we are always covering up-to-the-minute news. We did cover Enzo's story and currently where it is now. And if you continue to head over to the HWR chat room, the group section, and, check us out where we can follow the stories.
And also, Joe, you host a show every Thursday night on HWR.
Absolutely. It's called Four Corners Rants. Join us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live. Go to the HWR chat room to see us there. We talk about everything that's going on in professional wrestling from all the different promotions. And this Thursday night, we will be doing our Royal Rumble pick, so check that out. You'll enjoy it. It's kind of insane.
And hopefully maybe we could talk you into doing some picks for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. And finally, Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Well, right now I'm just doing my Wednesday live show. It's 6 Central, 7 Eastern. You do the math for the rest of the country. But I'm gonna get back to doing my Friday afternoon videos. It's just kind of getting out of the holiday break mode. But yeah, those will be coming back. And you can also find me on Twitter as @LanceMossTV.
And if you guys out there want to see more wrestling talk with awesome gameplays right here on WGS-TV, you know the 2 ways you got to do it. You got to link up the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications so that way you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with my special thanks to Rick Head, Joseph Knight, and Lance Moss, I'm your friendly neighborhood wrestle gamer reminding all of you guys out there to stay awesome. Bye guys!
Lance, tell him.
Bye, this shirt!